her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one sentence resignation?
Well, welcome to the next episode of Spilling the Tea in Studio D, the road,
The road show.
The road show. Yeah, Darren Beckwith, Candace Bennett, and a good friend of both of ours, a former colleague,
Yes, former colleague.
and she will one of the few that will acknowledge us in public.
Yeah.
There you go.
We don't get
Also-
that a lot, right?
Also a math teacher. Math
Yes.
teachers are
Well,
the best.
I didn't want to nerd her up right
Yeah.
off the bat, but now that you have,
I have a other side too.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah,
exactly. That's
I've
right.
got a cool
She's-
side and a
That's
dirty
right.
She's
side.
only
That's
half
right.
nerd. She's half
That's right.
nerd.
And but Tina Moore, volleyball coach, teacher extraordinaire here at Fountain Lake, our old stomping ground.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's funny that we still get on campus without too much of a security check. You know what I'm
there you
saying?
go.
It's not
Yeah, I had to
bad.
go make a few visits this
Yeah.
morning
That's
before we
right.
came over here.
So we were talking a little bit before the podcast. This is 28 years
This is
at
my
Fountain Lake.
28th year at Fountain Lake. Yes.
Okay, well,
my whole teaching career has been here.
Oh,
That is
okay.
so awesome.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Kind of take us that path, but
Yeah. Well, I did work for the Hot Springs Rehabilitation Center before I came here. I did
Oh.
psych testing, believe it or
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
Quite an appropriate job to be
Sure.
here.
You
yeah.
need to
Works
oh,
well.
absolutely.
You need to do
Yes.
some psych testing on
Yes,
Darren.
I can do that.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
It's a butterfly.
So
got
I
it.
did
So-
6 years. I worked at the rehab center, and then
Okay.
I came here.
Okay.
Okay.
and took
All
care.
right. Did you have to go back, I guess, to school to get?
No, I got an education degree on the front end. Couldn't find a
Okay.
teaching job in my field, and so
Right.
I had some friends that worked at the rehab center and
Okay.
got hooked up there. And it was a very interesting and fun job. I loved it.
Okay.
Actually, it's a good job.
Sure.
So when Miss Hines was getting ready to retire, I had also reffed volleyball,
Oh wow.
and she's the one who actually said, "Hey, are you interested in coaching?"
Okay.
And I already had that background as far as my degree, so
Okay.
worked out well.
Well,
Awesome.
you and I have
Yeah.
known each other going on, believe it or not, 18 years. I was 9 here, and this is my
Oh, yeah.
9th at the co-op.
Right.
But let me ask you this: take us back to high school, college. What led you to Arkansas?
Yeah. So I grew up in Wisconsin.
Right.
I was a
Go
The-
Packers.
listen, go.
Oh, I
Look
can
in my
see-
office.
I can
Oh,
see
yeah.
it.
All their
I can
shrines.
see it.
All the,
Yeah,
see
I
the
can-
cheese heads in
I know.
there.
I
Yeah.
can see
I'm
Aaron
one of
Rodgers on
those.
the wall.
I'm one of those crazy Packer share stockholders. So I'm an owner of a Packer
Yeah.
of the
That's awesome.
Packers. So I do go up there pretty regular and try to go to a game once a year.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin. We actually lived on a dairy farm, and our farm burnt down. Our farmhouse
wow.
burnt, and my dad said, I think we'll find a new career.
Yeah.
And so we packed up 4 kids and headed south, and we had no idea where we were going to land.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we came to Hot Springs Village and landed there. And my dad said, well, I kind of like it here. So he
Right.
went out and got a job, found a house, and
Right.
we ended up actually out Lake Hamilton direction. So my
Okay.
junior and senior year was at Lake Hamilton.
Okay. All right.
And then from there, I got a scholarship for volleyball at Henderson.
Okay.
So I played volleyball and tennis, 2 sports at
Okay.
Henderson, and there's where I got my education degree.
I was thinking
Okay.
that you played college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Yes.
So I'm curious, what was Dad's career number 2?
He actually got a job out at Weyerhaeuser.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what realm he
Sure.
did, but he was
Oh,
at the plant out in Mountain Pine.
Okay.
Still
So-
have family in
Yeah.
Wisconsin?
Oh yeah, all my
Lot of
family. My
family
brother
still?
moved back up there.
Ah.
He's up there, and my sister, and
Okay.
my mom and dad moved back up there for a few years, and
Yeah.
then came back down here. My mom is now here.
Right.
My dad got sick, and we brought him back here for us to help take care of him before he
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
And so my mom's in Arkadelphia.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, she's in Arkadelphia.
Okay.
And
Wow.
But I do go up to see my family up there. I have all my
Yeah.
cousins and aunts and uncles and
Well,
relatives.
I
Big
thought you were
family.
going to say your mom and dad got back to Wisconsin. They're like, bump this cold. Let's go back to the south.
They've gone back and forth a few times, probably
Right.
summer or winter here, summer there.
Right.
It's a good
All
it's a good system.
Right. So
Yeah.
educationally speaking, influence, I mean, we're all here, obviously, I think, it's a purpose-driven profession for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yes.
But along that path of purpose, we all have, what I would say, that one or two influential teacher, coach. Who was that for
Yes.
you?
My coaches at Lake Hamilton were pretty special to me. I had Coach Hartsville for volleyball and James Boley. That name
Oh,
was,
wow. Yeah.
Do you know that name?
I do know.
That goes
yeah.
way back, and
Yeah.
so they were, your coaches are kind of your mentors,
Sure,
and you always
right.
want to kind of be
Yeah.
like them, and
Yeah.
so that inspired me to want to be a coach. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
Coach Bowley's daughter, actually, she was probably 3 years ahead of me in school at Cutter Morgan Star down the street here. But I mean, and thinking about the teachers and coaches in our lives, like you say, you do learn a lot.
Yes.
I think.
yes,
And the coaching piece that I think about is probably what I remember most. Not so much X's and O's, right? But just walking you through life.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
you-
remember after track practice, Coach Boley would drive me home every day because we were neighbors.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of quality time in
I
his
was gonna
little El
say.
Camino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Right.
say you get to know them.
Right.
You do.
It's just like when I coach cheer, you get
Yes.
to know those
Yeah.
kids on
On a
just
very different personal level.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that? She coached cheer. Did y'all know that little known
Cheer.
fact?
Oh,
Yeah. Hey, wouldn't you like to see her demonstrating a herky or whatever they do?
Listen, I didn't say
Can
that
you do
I
a backflip?
could cheer. No.
But I'm not really.
Back handspring.
I'm not really impressed with that because Steve Campbell, who is assistant,
Oh,
I guess,
yes.
SUB curriculum guy here now, he was a cheer coach for a
he
bit.
was.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So wrong
Hey,
place, wrong
Listen,
time.
It's
That's
called,
what that's
it's called
about.
one of those, other duties as a son.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
anyway.
Is that when you drove the bus?
Yeah, that's when I had to start driving a bus.
Oh, did you
because-
really?
Yeah, because they needed,
Yeah.
because I was coaching cheer, so I could drive the cheer and dance team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And so I'm just like, sure, I'll go get my CDL. And then, and I drove sub routes, and,
Oof.
I don't have it anymore, though.
Good time.
I
good
said,
times.
last time I got my license, they were like, no. I said, I don't want my CDL. And they were like, you don't? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no. And they're
No,
like, you have
no.
to sign this
Yeah,
saying
what?
that you want
Saying that you
want
wanna-
to. I
oh.
said,
Yeah.
oh, let me sign. Just
Yeah,
just give me the
that
paper.
was. I mean, when I got hired at the co-op, that was the first thing I did too. I'm like, nope, don't need that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
well, I still have mine, but maybe I'll get to that stage.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah.
not doing it.
So in 28 years, obviously,
yes.
Times have changed.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but the thing is, even with technology and cell phones and all that, kids are kids.
Yes, kids
Yeah.
are kids. And in the
Yeah.
gym, kids are still the same, and you still do some of the same principles and stuff that you did 28
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago to
yeah.
build a
Yeah.
team and to build that culture. So,
Yeah, and that's what I'll say about you. I know you'd never say this, but you're one of the probably most humble coaches I've ever been around. From the standpoint you've had success,
yes.
but again, that's not. I don't think that's coaching wise. Perhaps is what you're known for, right?
Right.
And,
right.
And so, talk about the process for you because. It's not like college. You don't have a pot of NIL money, especially,
Very
but
true.
and you don't get to recruit.
True.
And so you play the kids that are here,
You build from the ground up, and
right?
and actually, I do 5th and 6th grade now also.
Oh
So
wow!
Oh,
not
Okay.
just 7th through 12th, but I coach 5th through 12th grade.
Right.
So you get them in 5th grade, and they've got zero skill and zero knowledge of the game, and you
Right.
and you go. When you watch them play, I always tell parents tell me, "Wow, that's hard to watch," and I'm like, "Yeah, but
Yeah.
and I want to keep going. Like, what makes me want to keep going when you
Yeah.
see them in the 5th grade going, oh my gosh, did they really just do that?"
Yeah.
So, but yeah, building from the ground up, and you really see great development in them because I have every senior that I have, they'll look at me and they'll say, "Were we that bad in the 7th grade?" And I'm like, "Yes,
yeah.
yes, you were.
It is probably
Yeah.
cool to see
Yes,
the
you
growth.
were." And I have film to prove it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah.
awesome.
But the watching them grow and get to where they are is pretty remarkable. And then several who go off to play in college.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was the thing. The other thing I wanted to hit on. You've had several of your athletes to go on
Yes.
post high
Yes.
school.
Yeah, I think my last 9 years. We've
Wow.
signed somebody to play in college. I have
Yeah.
somebody currently at UCA, at Hendrix, I have one in Kansas at a junior college who, by the way, just won the national junior college national
Wow.
championship.
Yeah.
I think she went in 2 seasons. They were like 60 and she's never lost a game in her
wow.
college career.
Wow.
So it's a long line of college
Yeah.
players. I have one that's in San Antonio playing at St. Mary's. I think she's finishing up her last year. So, and I'm signing one this year. She's signing to go to Belhaven in Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
So I have several that are out there playing currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the junior college athlete,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somebody's picked her up, right?
She's looking right now to come back to Arkansas, and
Gotcha.
they've had some coaching changes, like at Tech and different places.
Gotcha.
So she's got her
Okay.
feelers out there right now
Okay.
looking
Well, good
to
for
come
her.
back home.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing this a while too. So,
Yes. Yes.
what advice would you give even new coach, even teacher, or whatever? What are some things that you've used? That,
Well, I'm just going to say, to me, I think the process is to be successful in whatever is the relationship that you have. Because if you
100%.
can't reach them
Agreed.
as kids and people, they're not going to want to continue to play and move
Yeah.
on. So to me, I always say if you take care of the personal side, the winning side takes care of itself, whether that's winning in the classroom or winning
yeah,
Right.
winning anywhere.
yeah,
So-
yeah, have that connection though. On work
Yes.
for
Oh,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And don't you find even as a coach, what are you teaching now? What's your teaching load?
Currently, I'm doing PE, middle school
Okay,
PE.
right,
I'm
but-
not in the math classroom currently.
Right,
I was a
yeah.
few years ago, but now I'm in
Well, that's
PE.
why I start saying
Yes.
I've known you to teach math through the years too.
Yes, yes.
But as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
it always, with those athletes especially, it carries a little weight.
Yes,
As far
very
as,
true.
as the success piece in the classroom.
Yes.
Not only talking about it, but actually walking them through that.
Yes, for sure. Now, I still do a lot of tutoring in this little room we're sitting
Sure.
in right
Oh, yeah,
here. I have a
yeah.
lot of my kids that come in and
right.
we help them
Right.
with their math skills
Yep.
because,
Yep.
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So a school the size of Fountain Lake thing, obviously, I've got a history here all the way back to the 50s when my dad was here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Again, when I took the job, we talked about it. I mean, it's just like anything else. It wasn't necessarily like what I would call the best of times, but where's the challenge in taking something that's but coaching's a lot like that too,
Right.
right? I
Right.
mean, it's where's the challenge in making you hard work? But I can remember, talking to Dad. We talked to a lot of things, and he was a firefighter, but big believer in public schools. Served on the school board for like 17 years, that kind of thing. But when I talked to him about coming back to his home, he said, "Now my name's on the wall in there." And
that's
I said,
important.
I said yes, and he said, "So what I'm going to tell you is, best advice I'm going to give you is don't screw it up."
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Don't be ruining my name.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but what I was going to say is, the thing that's pretty unique about this community, this school, whereas you don't have it necessarily, and sometimes it's just because of the size and maybe locations of campuses. But I mean, the whole campus is right here,
Right here.
and so and it really. I think that lends itself, in my opinion, for the coaches really to work together.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yes. Yes. And we see, since we are so close campus, kindergarten through 4th grade before we even get them, we
Right.
see those kids. They see us. They know
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah.
And then when we get, they get into 5th grade and we're
Sure.
have classes directly with them, they already know the coaches, and the coaches
Yeah.
are such an integral part of
Oh,
of,
yeah.
of that
Yeah.
of that building, and then us here together in this
Yeah.
close proximity. Sure.
Well,
Very supportive.
and the other thing is, obviously, like I said, as a school this size, you don't have the luxury. Some kids probably would want as far as specializing, if you will, maybe in just one sport.
Right.
Some do, but the
Right.
thing about it is, here you share athletes.
We have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have enough kids to really pull and
Right.
draw and build on
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
our kids go from one sport to
Yeah.
the other. So yeah, we do have to work pretty closely and pretty supportive of each other. And
But the cool part of that was what I was going to hit on next is that support piece.
Yes.
I mean, it's nothing to see you guys at basketball coming in,
Right.
football, whatever, supporting volleyball. So I think that's always been in place here. And again, like I said, with the success that you've had, I mean, I feel like the community's pretty supportive of
Oh
the
yeah,
program.
I've always had great support, great fans, great
Right.
family, parents,
Right.
lots of good things. Yeah, they really do take care of me, and
Right.
they're pretty good to us
Right.
for sure.
So I know you said you worked at the rehab, but,
Yeah.
but was teaching and coaching always the end goal, you think?
Yeah, I when I went to college, I got an education degree and a coaching endorsement because I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then
Mm-hmm. Right.
I did volunteer out at Lake Hamilton for a couple of years, so I kind of got my feet wet while I worked at the rehab center. I would go out there and help my old high school coach, and
Yeah.
so I knew I wanted to do that. That's
Right.
how they got me into reffing, which, by
Right.
the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
I would never recommend that to anybody. That's
Yeah.
whew, this day and
That's
time.
tough.
That's a whole nother level.
yeah.
You got to have like, put some earplugs in
Yeah.
and don't
Yes.
listen.
This is
Yeah.
the only thing I would do if I
Yeah.
was reffing volleyball would be this.
That's a
Do over.
do over. That's a replay. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So
no-
that's how I got involved, is because I started reffing when I volunteered out there, and then that gets your face out there. So that's how Miss Hines kind of connected with me.
So speaking of back to the rehab,
Mm-hmm.
how did that come about?
Honestly, I couldn't find a job,
Right.
and so I started applying and looking, and there was a job that was in the educational side of it,
Right.
where they brought them in their orientation process, and so I applied for it, and
Yeah.
I guess I impressed them in an interview. I don't know,
Yeah.
and took that job. So I did that for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Where the new students that came in, I would go through an orientation process, and then
Right.
we do some psych testing with them and some baseline data, psychometric data, and so I kind of got involved in that. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it
You
would.
probably did use a little bit of that.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
You came in
absolutely.
and-
Oh,
and-
A lot of
yeah.
yeah,
I
a lot of
started saying.
testing stuff. So
Yeah.
Probably still do.
yeah.
You know, one of the crazy things that I watch in sports today, and of course, social media perpetuates this stuff, and to me, I believe this wholeheartedly, that a lot of it starts at the professional level, because that's why kids think everybody wants to go pro volleyball, pro football,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. But I would say within the last 2 years, it just blows my mind how these kids act. Some of them, on the field to play.
Yes.
Within this year especially, I've seen more fist fights on the basketball court at the high school level across the
Yes.
country. I'm not saying it happens here, but it just blows my
Right.
mind. I mean, what goes through your mind? But I mean, is it mimicking what they're seeing at that time? I don't know.
I think a lot of it's that, and just this day and time. But it used to be 10 years ago where the sportsmanship award was the big thing.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that we really even use that word anymore very much. Sportsmanship
Right.
is not promoted and is not encouraged. And
Right.
and it used to be a big award. Like I still give a sportsmanship award out for
Right.
my volleyball team, but
Right.
it's not the one everybody wants. They want to be known as the GOAT.
Yeah.
And to me, that kind, nice, shake your hand, lift the other guy
Right.
up
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're on the
Right.
ground, that speaks volumes about a
It
person's
does.
character.
It
So
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, and I'll say that without bringing too much of your kid into this. But,
Oh, okay.
but that's how he played.
Yes.
So I mean, no,
did.
no
He did.
doubt he was a coach's kid,
yes,
because
yes.
that was a priority.
Right.
Decent athlete for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, obviously, at the end of the day, he was that kid picking up and
Yeah, he was a good kid, and he had that value system in him. He was a good sport on the floor.
Yeah.
Competed hard, gritty when he needed to be,
Right.
Yeah.
but then could go ahead and
But
shake your
still-
hand and be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
good sport
Well,
athlete.
and we talked
for
about
sure.
this a little bit, even as administrators, it's been kind of funny in adult life. My son's like, well, why didn't I get to do X? Or, looking back on it jokingly. And
Yeah.
I said, because, hey, I mean, there's just a lot of things you look at it and say, look, you're not going to do it because of X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Or perception's a big part
Yes.
of it too.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you want your kid to have all the experience.
Yes,
No
absolutely.
doubt about that. But more importantly, I mean, you want them to be, like you say, I'm guessing like the three of us were brought up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes.
and value the things that need to be
Yes.
valued.
Yes.
probably.
I always
Right.
say make them a good human first. So.
Exactly.
absolutely.
And that
Yeah.
everything
Exactly.
else will take care of itself.
That's
Yes.
100% true.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, you've been state runner-up. I know at least.
Yes, I've been to state championship once, so we were
Okay.
runner-up once. I've been to, probably 10. And I'm one of the bad coaches that don't
Right.
really keep up with my stuff.
Sure,
Like
sure.
you said,
Right.
I kind of,
very humble.
I am. And so probably 10 or 12 semifinals.
Right.
Haven't this year. We just changed our format in 4A to where we had to go to regionals before state.
Right.
Before we always went straight from district to state. So we haven't not been to the state tournament in 20 years probably.
Right.
My last 18, 20 years. So
Right.
I've had good success. I can't
Yeah.
complain about
Right.
that. But I've had hardworking kids who's put a lot of time in inside the gym and outside too on their
Right.
own time through
Right.
travel season, through whatever. So we've been very successful.
Yeah. You mentioned the travel piece, and I'll say this again. With volleyball, I've watched that. I guess kind of progress through the years, but that really has been of all the sports probably as far as feeder and
Yes,
that kind of
yes.
stuff, it really benefited from
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah, my kids have benefited from that, and it's gotten so large now that it's
Right.
just it's such a it's a big business actually. But yes, I still have kids that are
Yeah.
very much involved in the travel world and good experiences that
Oh,
they
yeah.
get out of it. But
Yeah.
for sure,
Well, and I guess the best way to ask this question is how do you stay motivated to motivate?
well, success motivates itself. So having
Sure.
good
Oh, yeah.
seasons absolutely
Oh,
is
yeah.
a motivator.
Yeah.
So that helps. Having a good assistant coach helps.
Right.
I have a new one that's been here. Is this her third year, I guess? And Coach Baker's pretty good, and she's really good to work with.
Right.
So that's been good. And just good kids
Yeah.
that want to play hard
Right.
and
Yeah.
enjoy and be successful. So
Yeah.
Well, and I think that again, that's one of those things that speak to your success because if you sign on for volleyball at Fountain Lake, you're gonna work,
right, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Yes,
For sure, you're
absolutely.
gonna work. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do have such a good, strong culture just from our history
Right.
that it's easy to recruit people into our program. And we do a lot of team building stuff that makes our seasons. I mean,
Yeah.
I always say at the end of the year, what's your favorite memory? Or they ask kids in homecoming, what's your favorite memory? And it's never how successful we were in state
Yeah.
tournament wins. It's always, well, we did this and we went to Branson and we
Right.
had this team building stuff. So it's those things that makes the kids remember,
Oh, yeah.
and that's value to them, and
Right.
so that strong culture helps.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're competing with a lot these days.
Yes.
With kids. I mean, and again, we see it even, at the adult level, and some of the things. It is just almost with this. There's so many distractions. Number one, but number two, the old. Well, if it don't feel good, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So
True.
having
True.
to push through that.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a lot of kids that that end up. I mean, when we're in 7th grade, we have 40 kids. By the
Right.
time their senior year gets, we're down to 5 or 8 or however
Right.
many you have left. So a lot of them that don't push through it, but it just builds so much character in them if
Oh,
they
it does.
will,
Oh,
and they just grow as people and learn how to work together and
Yeah.
build that
we
team.
had this conversation with my family about, kids need to work. Now,
Yes.
if it's in that aspect, if they are in sports, that does teach them responsibility,
Right.
And they have
Right.
So it's like working. So
Yes.
if they're not in sports, they need to be working.
Yes.
So you're
Yes.
teaching
Building that.
that character,
Right.
and that
Oh, yeah.
grit and determination, and it's just
Well,
Yes.
just the
Interesting.
importance of being involved.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And you guys know statistically, kids that are involved in stuff obviously excel more in school
yeah.
and go on to do good things. So
Yeah.
it's really important for them to be part
Yeah.
of a team culture or part of a group or part of whatever.
Right.
Right.
Well, you talked about building a good human. So when you
Yeah.
have that discussion with your
Yeah.
young ladies, I mean, what are you looking for in building that good human?
Well, I guess I guess first of all, wanting to be successful and wanting to win and wanting to work hard. We talked about sportsmanship. I think instilling in them that being a good sport and to have that character on the floor. I think those
Right.
things build a good human.
Oh,
and just
100%.
just your your moral compass. Make
Oh,
sure that that's
oh, yeah.
always facing due north, and I think you'll be okay.
Right. So, what's your favorite thing about coaching?
My favorite thing. Wow, that's interesting. I think I like as much as game time. I like the team building stuff that we do as a group. We always do quite a few things. We have a theme every year that our volleyball team picks up, and the seniors get to pick that theme.
Right.
This year was Fast and Furious, so everything we did was revolved around race cars.
Right.
There's our race car boxes over
Oh,
there,
okay.
our flags.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Year before
See
was
it.
mentality. That's our boxing theme.
Oh, okay.
So when we do our team photos and all of our team building stuff, we do,
Love
we build around that. So we really find a lot of fun and build our culture around that theme that we
Right.
have year to year. So that always makes it a really enjoyable season to build around that.
What
So-
about embarrassing? We talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
embarrassing.
Oh, and my most embarrassing
I
moment.
mean, 28
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
We have a ton.
Well, I've never got red carded, so I can't say that
Oh,
I've
that's
always.
good.
Oh, that's
that's
good. See, now you need to go. You need to put that. You need to post that in Deb's office.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never got any unsportsmanlike calls. I'm pretty
Right.
calm on the coaching realm, so I don't even know embarrassing. I don't know. I tripped over my assistant coach this year and fell
Yeah.
backwards on my backside in the
Yeah.
middle of a game,
Yeah.
and that was on film. But that's about as embarrassing as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I mean, least favorite. Not that it. I don't mean that negative.
No, no.
But what's the least favorite thing about coaching? Maybe.
My least favorite. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'll
Right.
say girl drama.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Girl
oh,
drama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my least favorite.
I
is-
was gonna say that's probably a percentage
Right.
of your
'cause
coaching
when
day.
girls have boys and boyfriends,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they come to practice, and I'm like, listen, block that all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, girl drama is probably
Yeah.
the least
Yeah.
favorite, but
Well-
that would be anybody.
Well, it's funny you say that. When
So-
as a middle school administrator is where I first really came to know girl drama. I mean, young middle school guys,
Yes.
they may even break out in fist fight, but by lunch, they're buddies.
They're
again.
buddies. Yep.
But girls, my lord!
Oh, yeah.
I
It
never will
was-
forget my principal one time. She set me in an office full of young ladies and slipped out the door, and it was like Oprah gone bad. I couldn't get a
Yeah.
word in,
Yeah.
and finally this little girl, never will forget her name, Melody Washington. She raised her hand. She said, "Can I speak?" I said, "Absolutely." She said, "I can tell you what's wrong." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "These girls need Jesus." and so I've kind of taken that. I mean, everywhere I go, there's a whole lot of that.
Yep,
But you're right.
that's
That
true.
It was middle school. It was either horseplay with the boys,
Yes.
drama with the girls.
Yes.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
that's
And
still true,
Now
by
she
the
was
way.
looking at me in class, and I said, "Okay, let's talk about perception versus reality."
Yes.
Like maybe
Yes.
she was looking at you
Yeah.
and whispering to her friend,
yeah.
but maybe it wasn't
Yeah.
about you. Yeah.
Girl drama. Girl drama.
And let's face it, social media is
it's
no friend of girl drama.
No, not at all.
So-
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
God knew to bless me with a boy at home because He knows that I have 50
Yeah.
girls here. So,
But my wife and I talk about that a lot.
Yes, yes.
Is having the one and only son.
One
but-
and only.
But he knows what he's doing when it comes to that stuff.
Yep,
So,
yep. I got one of those too.
I did have a girl, but she's not. She
Yeah, she's no drama.
well,
Not drama.
no.
like,
good.
like her mama.
But yeah, no drama like her mama. But
Hey, that's our next T-shirt.
yeah,
Oh,
no drama like her mama. But it was funny though, because like she would come home in middle school sometimes and just be like, hurt feelings. She doesn't really get her feelings hurt
Right.
easily, but I'm like, look, Sarah, just hang out with the boys. So.
Right.
Teacher says get with partners. Just get one of the boys. You go to church with all these boys,
Right.
And so she did that for a long time, and it just because
It was
boys are
probably
not
good.
dramatic,
Right.
They're not.
No.
They're not. I mean,
They're not
like
the
Darren
same-
said, they're gonna throw fists and then be friends the next.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that helped her like survive. I think middle school
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and they outgrow that
Yeah, they
trauma
do.
Oh,
when
they
they get
do.
older.
They
it's
do.
it's
Yeah.
rough at that age, and then it gets better. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you definitely see the progression. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, people are saying, "Oh, how do you do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you just wait a few years; it'll go away."
Yeah.
know,
Well,
yeah.
and
So-
it's kind of like, when I was in middle school and those young men would be in front of me, they're like, "How'd you know?" And I'm like, let's keep it real here. I either did it, thought about doing it, or got caught like doing it like you just did.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you're not inventing anything new, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Kids are still kids,
That's
just like they were
absolutely right.
28 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in your mind, has the game changed or progressed?
Oh, absolutely. When I first started, obviously we didn't do rally scoring. Remember
Oh, yeah.
when you had to
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to serve to score the point, and the games
Yeah.
were like long and drawn
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's so fast paced. And then they added the lib in there, the libero, the
Right. Oh, yeah.
defensive player.
Yeah.
So you add that to it, and it just absolutely increases the speed of the game. So the game has
Right.
changed tremendously. It's
Yeah.
such a booming sport.
Right.
Just the last 5 to 10 years, how much
Right.
the sport has grown
So you
in
talk,
popularity.
you talk about the libero. What a key player.
Right.
So what do you look for when you go to look for that
Somebody
libero?
who's quick on their feet, can read a ball, and is relentless, just goes after anything. Like
Right.
they'll lay themselves out on the floor after a ball,
Yeah.
whatever, just very
Right.
relentless. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So, we'll switch off here as we wrap up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But so, we talk a lot about, a lot of times, reading. You read a good book, or are
Right.
you a reader?
I do like to read. I never really have a lot of time to read, but I
Right.
enjoy reading.
Right.
Yes.
I read Steve
Yes.
Campbell's weekly
Oh,
email.
I
Did you
do
see-
have time for that.
Yeah. So
How about AJ Brown reading on the sidelines?
I missed that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
I saw
it.
that. Yes.
Yeah, Campbell sent the email,
Yeah.
and I forgot. AJ, I saw it on the news or
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
sports shows that
Yeah.
he was reading
Yeah,
on the
I
sidelines.
Reading on the side. Some people bashed him for it, but I
Yeah.
thought it
But
was.
that goes back to perception versus
Yes.
reality, and then
Yeah.
he said why he did it.
Yes.
And everybody was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, that was pretty
yeah.
cool.
And for those that don't know what we're talking about, AJ Brown plays for the Eagles. They caught a glimpse of him, and I guess he's a stud receiver.
Some
right?
people could
Yeah.
say it's because the Eagles-Packers game was a little boring, and I take offense to that.
but they caught the camera caught him reading on as he sat on the bench waiting to go
Yes.
back in or whatever.
Yes, he
which,
did.
A actual book.
But he was reading a
Inner excellence. I think
yes,
was the name of
yes, it was
Right.
a good motivational book.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Sure.
So what about musically? What are you into?
I like everything. Old
Oh, yeah.
70s rock and roll,
Right.
that's my generation. 80s
Right.
music. We
Yeah.
we do have the best music. I'm a super big concert girl. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
I have my little concert
yeah.
group that we go
Yeah, I
and
did know
travel.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've, we
that's neat.
we do concerts all the time. I'm already looking for my next venture.
What was
so.
the last great one you went to?
Oh my. Well, I've been the Eagles recently.
Yeah.
I drove all the way to St. Louis a few
Yeah.
months ago for Billy Joel, and I got there, and 30 minutes later they canceled it. So that
Yeah.
didn't work out so well.
What
for
was
me.
that about? I remember you said something about that. Why'd they cancel?
The hurricane that hit
Oh,
on the
that's
East
right.
Coast was
That's right.
dumping water. So
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
rescheduled. I'm going to Wisconsin for a Billy Joel concert coming
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Is
but
this like
I
his
just-
last little go around, or?
They always say it's their last
Yeah.
go around, and then they
Yeah.
keep going. So I don't know, but I'm going to catch him before he does. So, lots of good concerts. I've been to so many.
So was Vince
so.
Gill with the Eagles when you saw him?
Yes, absolutely fabulous. Yeah, yeah.
Back
I
in
love
the-
the Eagles.
I did too.
Back
yeah.
in the old country
Yeah.
radio days,
Yeah.
Vince Gill came to Magic Springs, and I had
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I had the good fortune of introducing him. And
Yes.
man, I we were back on his bus and visiting, and man, he just looked tired. I said, "Man, are you all right?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "When you call my name," he said, "I'll perk up," and he did.
Yeah.
But man, what an incredible! I mean, number one singer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as far as just instrumentalist,
Yeah,
I
he
was
is
blown
absolutely
away by that. Yeah.
for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have, I mean, like a bucket list of folks you still want to check off that you haven't
I've
seen?
checked off most of my bucket list. Billy Joel, I've not. I've bought 2 tickets and they've both been canceled. So I guess
Right.
he's my bucket list. But
Yeah.
besides that, I've pretty much
Yeah.
touched everybody that's still touring anyway.
Yeah.
I hate that I missed Steve Campbell. Love this. I hate
Yeah.
that I missed Jimmy Buffett 'cause
Oh,
that would have been on my
yeah.
list and I never saw him.
Right.
But he's seen him enough for all of us. So I guess that's okay.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
and you say about what year did you graduate high school? So
1981.
okay, 81.
81.
So I'm 85.
Yeah, so same type of music.
So
Y'all
right in
oldies.
there.
Y'all oldies. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
and-
are.
And but the thing that we talk to teachers and administrators of all ages, but I'm seeing that shift going back to the good music.
The good music.
Late
Absolutely.
70s,
Yes.
early to mid
Yes.
80s. And
Let's bring it back to
Yeah.
some, heavy metal and some
yeah.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Well,
and
and of
Def
course-
Leppard.
No, I've seen Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard. I've seen all them. They're good.
I mean, I love, like you said, all kinds of music.
Yes.
And especially enjoy country. But
Me too.
It's interesting to see that when I worked in country, that's where music is. I mean, that's kind of the sweet spot again. That '90s
Right.
country.
Yes.
You got
Yes.
Zach.
Coming back around.
Zach
Zach
Brown.
Top.
No,
Zach
Zach
Top.
Top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So bringing back that '90s sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's been interesting watching that. So.
Yep.
So advice-wise, anybody wanting to get into teaching and coaching,
Yes.
so if they come to you junior, senior year of high school and say,
Right.
Coach, I'm thinking about this,
Right.
Teaching and coaching maybe, what would you tell them?
For sure, be prepared to work a lot of hours because
Right.
coaching is never 8 to
Yeah,
3. So
yeah.
you got to be all in. I think really, if you have a passion and you love kids and sports,
Right. Yeah.
sports is the key. If you
Right.
love to be in the gym in that realm,
Right.
but work hard and be
Yeah.
prepared to work long hours because that's the biggest downside is you
Right.
you miss a lot of time with family. But if you love it.
Right.
You're going to put your heart and soul into it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously career too for me, and but coaching was something I wanted to do.
Right.
I got the old coaching endorsement. Never was a head coach, but I
Right.
got to coach alongside some great coaches up at Jesseville. But anyway, one of the things that I guess as a coach that like I say, even all that extra time in the throes of battle, it doesn't really seem that extra if you, like you're saying, if you're going to be successful or
Right.
whatever. But
Right.
but I guess one of the things that I didn't anticipate, and again, this was just young and not knowing, was like you were saying, taking kids home, picking
Yes.
kids up, waiting at the gym.
Waiting at the gym
Till
for
Mom-
parents
Yeah,
to come get
yeah.
them. There's a lot of extra
Yeah,
time there. Yes, absolutely.
But I also think about those
Yeah.
connections. I had, matter of fact, this is just a weird coincidence, but one of my former students and athletes' mom ran into my mom at the beauty shop, if you will, and said, "Hey, he's going through a rough time or whatever." And I said, "Well, okay, I'll give him a call." And
Yeah.
and when I called him, ended up being like a 2.5 hour conversation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And just letting them talk and what do you think, and it's
Right.
like you kind of pick up where you left off.
Absolutely.
And
I still have kids come in weekly that want to come and visit and hang
Yeah.
out and see
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And that's when you've made an impact on people.
Oh,
is
yeah.
when you're getting wedding invitations all the
Yeah.
time,
Oh,
or
yeah.
you're going to the
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Or
lots
they're
of
calling
things.
you for some advice.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Cool.
well, and that's the thing about this business. I think a lot of times, and that's probably my favorite thing to do is going out and getting to talk to, inspire young teachers, but also rekindle the fire in the experienced ones, and really tell them, hey, again, it's a purpose-driven profession.
Yes,
But
for
man,
sure.
what an incredible opportunity.
Yes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
touch a lot of people's lives for sure. But they give you back just as much.
Oh, absolutely.
So the reward is
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I tell
For
them all the time, teaching ain't for sissies.
No, not at all. You're right.
But you know what I learned probably most importantly from Coach today? The key to super success?
Is
A great assistant.
it is.
So
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
I'm lacking.
That's
right?
why you're
Yes.
so successful.
No, that's why.
That is exactly
that-
why he's so
that is
successful.
that's
Tina.
what that's what's holding me back. That's what's holding me down. Man, I'm taking that with me.
Listen, I
So,
hope you get shocked when you get out of that chair.
man, yeah. Shocking would be getting
Right
a good
in the,
assistant.
right in the
that
rear.
would be the shock.
Right in the rear.
That would be the shocking thing. Well, we appreciate you spending time with us and keep doing the good stuff. I mean,
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
any intentions of are you just taking it a year at a time?
A year at a time, I think. I have a son that's in college, so I kind of am waiting for him to get out. That obviously is a
Girl, let
priority.
me tell you, that's what I'm saying. Getting those kids out, getting them gainfully employed. That's
Yes.
what I'm talking
Hey,
about.
Yes.
year one of T drops. So.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
there
right.
you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my husband just retired, so
Oh, wow.
you know that might
Yeah.
prompt a little bit more. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Right,
but
yeah.
spending time with him.
Hey,
and
this brings up a
finishing
good
out.
question. No
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah,
So you know, a hot one. He just walked in. He's kind of hiding. So who's your favorite, Darren Beckwith or Landry?
Well, listen, that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy for me. It's Landry.
Yeah.
It's Darren Landry is my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Can we tie on this?
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
Hey,
the
hey,
pressure.
go. You might want to say Landry, I guess, since he signed your
Since
check.
he's current,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Landry is my favorite
Yeah,
Darren.
there you go. There you go. Hey, hey, you know what? I'll say the same thing. Besides myself, he's my favorite.
Okay, there you go.
And so,
I got you.
So.
Perfect.
well, we appreciate you taking the time. And
Yes.
again,
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, keep doing what you're doing.
All
Yes,
right.
and-
Well, I
sure.
will as long as I'm here. you know.
Enjoyed it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to put the wrap on this episode of Spilling the Tea in Studio D. Until next time, which who knows? I think
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We just look
it
at
gets
the calendar.
put on our calendar and we show up.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I guess
great.
I'm most proud of now is I'm 96.7% electronic calendar.
Oh, wow.
Finally,
I've kind of
we've gotten him to make the shift.
Yeah.
I haven't made the
can't
shift.
believe-
I have to have that paper
Oh,
copy in
I know.
front of me, Darren. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Well, you know what's funny? They'll say,
Nope.
well, we're doing this on this day, and I'm like, I can't. I've got. And they're like, where is it on your calendar? I said, I'm looking at it. It's written right here. They're like,
That's right.
well, would you care to share that with somebody? But anyway.
If I lose my calendar, I'm in
Oh,
trouble.
yeah.
So
Are you like me too? I mean, there for a while, I would like keep like 3 years worth. So
Yes.
look back
Look
on.
back.
Oh, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
I have several. I can tell you a whole lot that's gone on in the last year.
Well, that's what I say. I look
I-
back and it's
Yep.
like, here we are in late January. What should I, am I
Yeah.
on pace? So, well, again, thank you very much.
My
And
pleasure.
we will see you guys next time.